free feet, god damn it. I'm in the mood to slide to the right 100 feet, god damn it. I'm in the mood to fall down the steps 4 flights, god damn it. I'm in the mood to fly in the air 12 feet, motherfucker.
One more time. One more time. Let's fucking go.
I'm in the mood to whip your body with a tie iron.
Six years after the release of Darksiders 2 Gunfire Games and THQ Nordic would put number 3 on store shelves. And less than a full year after release, Sony would give it away to PlayStation Plus subscribers. Now, let me clarify the scene for you. Sony doesn't give anything away. The only games they give you are titles they are just not going to get money out of, a la Modern Warfare Remastered and Goat Simulator, or games that exist entirely as gateways to more purchases like Dead by Daylight and the like. The overall point being that Sony, you know Sony, they got 2 rules. No more anime titties, and get that money, fuck everybody else. And now with that in mind, they were giving it away for free to PS Plus subscribers less than a year after release while the game was still selling for full retail price. And yet, despite knowing all of that, I have chosen to play it anyway. And I shall wipe from the face of the earth the YouTube channel that I have created, and with it this series, the playthroughs, and all manner of brain dump video, for I regret that I have made them. This is Darksiders 3. The best thing that can be said about this game is that it's a beautiful yet bland retread of the first title that decides to adapt its gameplay to a new genre and manages to not be a complete and total clusterfuck. The most truthful thing that can be said is that it's a shameless retread of the first title that drops all the other games it ripped off and decides it's time to update their portfolio and rip off Dark Souls, Lords of Shadow, and Two Thrones. It does so in a manner that's so close to being a decent title, but trips over its own ineptitude, and yes, it's the third goddamn time I'm saying that. What the fuck do you want from me at this point? What can I possibly say about this game that hasn't been said about the previous 2 titles? It fails to grasp the finer points of what it borrows, it focuses down mechanics so hard that they become compartmentalized and boring. Its mechanics are incredibly unpolished to the point of never instilling the player with confidence in using them. Combat has improvements, but just as many steps back, and through it all, I absolutely cannot seem to get excited about the idea of talking about it. I'm just going to end up saying the things I said in the last 2 videos. Combat, it's changed. It's Bloodborne with the Lords of Shadow Whip. They still wanted a pseudo-character action game so you attack quickly, just now you hit like a mosquito's bite until 2/3 of the way into the game when you get a hammer. To force the player to slow down, enemies will oftentimes go from being stun-locked to mid-strike, and you have this incredibly long cooldown between attacks, and despite them programming true multi-button combos, there's still no dodge cancel, so after stun-locking fodder enemies, suddenly you take 80% damage from a single hit. Yeah, Fury is faster, yet still has no dodge cancel, nor does she have the sight beyond sight to anticipate enemy attacks, despite the fact that she has the fucking Eye of Thundara on her chest. And then there are the guys who just start blocking inexplicably with, again, no way to break the block for 2/3 of the game, so you just have to wait and bait attacks, and bosses don't flinch at all, for that matter. So how does combat look? Hit, hit, dodge, dodge counterattack, hit, hit, dodge, lather, rinse, repeat for the next 12 fucking hours. Bosses are mostly fucking simple. Hit, hit, dodge, counter, hit, dodge. Boring, stupid, janky. Then you come across Gluttony, who has undodgeable attacks, fills the room with hurt floors, and stalls you out and has so much health that he takes longer than multiple bosses combined. Why is there a DPS race boss right after him? Rather than just recycling the last 2 games and giving you Strife's guns and your other brother's guns, you now get 4 secondary weapons that are unique to the character, with wrath attacks and jump powers associated with them. Lightning is the best wrath attack. 3 or 4 little tornadoes, they home in on enemies, deal a shitload of damage over a long period of time, and they can even stun bigger enemies out of their own attacks, and they just generally wreck shit. What are the other 4 wrath attacks, you ask? Piddly extra fire damage for a limited time. A small AoE damage attack. A small AoE damage attack that has pushback. And introducing, hailing from Pensacola, Florida, armor. Just armor. You don't get multiple wrath bars and you don't buy wrath attacks. Now, you only get the 1 bar, and the attacks are tied to secondary weapons. That's it. You get Flame On, Gwyn Power, Gravity Suit, and Ice Queen. They also each give you a jump special ability, but as previously mentioned, they're compartmentalized to the point of just being progression gates and require specific terrains that block off any player creativity or expression. It's literally just hold A with the correct power equipped, and the correct power is obvious. There's no more wall running, no more pole climbing, no more traveling along ledges, and you can grab ledges that don't have a giant fuck-off color coding. The compartmentalization of ability use, however, makes up for that last one. Your last jump trick, which you get at the start, is to swing from hanging poles with your chain whip a la 2 Thrones. It's janky and unpolished. Dig, if you will, a picture. You jump. Icon and sound effect go off to let you know you can swing, then disappear. Then reappear, then disappear. Then reappear at the apex of your jump. At any time that the icon is not there, if you press the attack button, you'll swing your whip wildly, accomplishing nothing and probably fall. Why? Why does your ability to grab the pole disappear and reappear during your jump? Just what the fuck ever? Moving on. Items are handled a little differently this time around. You get an Estus flask, and just like Dark Souls 2 and 3, you start with only 1 and have to find upgrades. You do, however, get supplemental healing items. You can find them or purchase them at an ever-increasing price. To balance this out and prevent the player from using the 80 bajillion soul items the game gives them to farm, using an item that isn't the Nephilim's Respite puts all of those items on a cooldown timer. It's neat. It's meaningless, but overall it's pretty neat. The Nephilim's Respite refills after death, but aside from that, the only way to refill it is to purchase refills from Vulgrim, as you cannot do a world reset like you do at bonfires. Despite dropping your souls upon death, no matter how many times you die, you can't permanently lose a stash. This becomes meaningless as a souls ripoff because now death has no real consequences. All of that is made even worse by how quickly souls from enemies become worthless, and the game has to supplement your soul gain by filling maps to the absolute brim with soul items and upgrade materials, because you upgrade weapons now instead of getting stronger ones. You also get weapon augmentations to upgrade, and each one bestows 2 abilities, with an upgrade path for each ability. But once you pick one to upgrade, that's it. You can only upgrade one of those abilities, period. Finally, you purchase level ups from Vulgrim, and you only have 1 of 3 stats to level. That's it. And what about the world? How is the world? Well, we are back on Earth during the period of War's imprisonment, and while death has gone missing. The art direction is vastly improved, and everything meshes properly this time around, although the devastation of the first game is mostly replaced by overgrowth. The world map is also much larger and far more sprawling, because it's just Lordran. Why wouldn't it be? Vulgrim's wormholes are back, and they act kinda like bonfires for travel, only you can't reset anything from them, just buy stuff, level up, and, as I said, travel. The world, while gated by abilities, isn't just a series of corridors anymore, thankfully. Though it will at times feel incredibly directionless, they mitigate this with a basic bitch compass that helps tell you where to go and gives the player the ability to explore side areas without fear of getting too lost, because you just might get lost exploring side paths to find the side bosses. Progression through the world is also really nice and less jarring. Broken, overgrown city leads you to subway, which leads to caves and back up again. It's got a great flow and never becomes disjointed, and the handful of times you are outright teleported, they act as a narrative device, so it's okay. It's also graphically very pretty. A brighter palette even in the dingy areas makes everything feel like it's very much still alive, that though humanity is technically gone, something still lives here. Too bad most of it is cramped and the close camera and combat style result in you still taking damage from off-screen. The story is just Darksiders 1 all over again. The apocalypse accidentally happened. You go to Earth to kill a bunch of people for the Charred Council. Here's a Watcher. Fury has to learn to be a better person. Uncovers a vast conspiracy. Watcher was a bad guy all along, and through it all, 2 incredibly insufferable characters refuse to shut the fuck up for even 2 goddamn minutes. They talk so much that they regularly point out flaws in the game's design, and even attempt to lampshade design choices, and all it does is just kill me inside a little more. I just can't get enthusiastic to talk about this game. There's so much they take forward that yet all over again is dragged back. The true XXYXX combos exist. They now have a differentiation between light and heavy attacks. Light, press button. Heavy, hold it. With the whip, the heavy attack is an auto combo, and yes, you can chain it in with the light attacks. But yet again, for the third fucking time, I don't know if it's intentional or not, as half the time you press, hold, it works. The other half, you press, hold, drop combo, take 3 fucking hits. Dodging is vastly improved, but now enemies can have attack combos that despite getting a successful super dodge, you're still left in their attack. Did I mention the people who never shut the fuck up? Did I mention the abilities that do nothing but gate the world and make exploration as bland as the previous 2 titles? Did I mention the soundtrack that I don't even remember due to how bland it is? None. No enthusiasm for talking about this game. The series has damaged what little of my mental health remains. It has infected me with a malaise to my very core, and I was absolutely ready to just delete my channel rather than finishing this trash fire of a game. I am seriously looking for anything to talk about outside of how it makes me feel, but everything about this game just drags me down. Aside from game mechanics, they ripped off difficulties as well. Give me story, give me game, hurt me plenty, etc. I chose to play on challenging because with how easy previous games were and with their focus on Bloodborne style combat and difficulty, I figured that was their intended route. So maybe constantly getting one hit killed by enemies from off screen or from around corners isn't the way they intended the game to be played, but it's how I played it, and it's how I got through it. And really, the difficulty wasn't the problem. It was the janky, bland, and failed to stand out on its own gameplay that was the problem. Sometime after release, in response to everyone saying the combat is utter shit, they released an update that offers a different combat style. I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at how I believe they intended me to play, though with the possibility of it being harder than they intended me to play. You don't get your second impressions Gunfire games. You made your bed, and now you have to lie in it. And it's a shitty bed. It's a shitty bed that has ruined part of me. Darksiders 3 is indicative of nothing more or less than what the entire series has been. It's just aimless ripoffs with little understanding of the polish these mechanics had, the purpose they served, or what made them even good or bad. Everything they do well is just like Horizon Zero Dawn's situation. You don't get extra kudos for a half-decent copy-paste of functioning mechanics when all you had to do was not fuck up the paste. They're mind-numbingly boring, repetitive, uninspired, uninspiring, grueling, overly lengthy, and just downright unenjoyable to sit through. But you know what? Absolutely none of that shit matters. Everything I barely glossed over and missed a lot of detail on doesn't matter. Everything I forgot to mention doesn't fucking matter. Because I'm done! This is it for the candy corn and bacon bit enema of a video game series. They have a prequel, and I'm not going anywhere near that shit. All of the bland, boring, mind-numbing, literal damage it has done to my mental health no longer fucking matters. Because now I can go on to play good games. And even the bad ones won't be as heinous as the grueling task of playing these. And all the shit it's done to me, all it will ever be is a diseased memory. I'm the TheNecroswanson, and it is finished.
Is